What's up, Men's Health? It's Jonathan Majors here. This is the gym. This is how I train.
What's going on YouTube, it's Jason, and today we're going to be discussing Jonathan Majors and his freakish transformation. Now, for those of you who don't know who Jonathan Majors is, he's an actor who starred in films such as Magazine Dreams, Ant-Man, and most notably Creed 3. And in preparation for these films, Jonathan gained a whopping 21 pounds of muscle and got down to 5% body fat in just over a year. Now, before we go into his questionable gains, which we definitely will do at the end, I want to go through his training routine, which he claims was the secret to all the muscle he gained, and discuss whether or not it's an effective way to build muscle.
What's up, Men's Health? It's Jonathan Majors here. This is the gym. This is how I train.
Okay, so here we go. This is lat pull downs. So we normally do 3 supersets consisting of 10 to 12 reps, but sometimes I might say 10 more. Then Jay, because of his mindset, will do another 20.
So let's start with supersets. Supersets are where you do 2 exercises back to back with no rest in between. It's very popular among bodybuilders and is seen as a great way to build muscle according to bro science. But if supersets are going to be effective for building muscle, you want to do them in a way that, number 1, doesn't impact your strength and total volume, and number 2, ideally works 2 separate muscle groups that don't affect each other. When we look at Jonathan's workout, he's actually doing all the supersets on his back, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And secondly, when we go into his rep range, his trainer says Jay, because of his mindset, might do another 20 reps after doing the 10. Well, yeah, we can talk about his mindset, but my question is that weight heavy enough in the first place? If you're able to do 20 more reps for a weight you picked to do 10 of, that weight is evidently too light. Lifting light weights and doing supersets on the same muscle group is not going to help you gain 21 pounds of muscle in a year.
And then from here, we take off the top, not to show off, but to see how the package is looking. We've completed our movement here. Now we're going to go straight to pull-ups, which will give him his size, his thickness, and his depth, and his lats, his big back. Here we go. Woo! Now we're going straight into the exercise.
Okay, let's pull that back. So you start off with straight arm lat push downs, not pull downs. That's a different exercise. And then you move on to pull-ups, which you acknowledge will build your size and thickness. By exhausting your back on a supplementary exercise like lat pushdowns, it's going to impact the performance of your pull-ups, your main compound exercise. I don't understand why you do this. If you wanted to train for size, you maybe would do 1 warm-up set just to get the back warm, and then move on to your main compound exercise so you can get as much out of it as possible. Why you did things this way around with a hope to build muscle is beyond me. Anyways, let's move on.
And pull, up. Good, down, up, good, and hold, and hang, at the bottom, hold, exhale, we're going into 10 leg raises. This is very intense. Watch the abs here, how much it's working.
Ooh, the workout is very intense. To be honest, this looks more like an Instagram workout. It looks shiny, there's a lot of supplementary exercises, it's really intense and flashy, but it doesn't actually do the thing which it's claiming to do, i.e. build muscle. Intensity is good for things like fat loss, getting your heart rate up and getting your metabolism boosted, but when it comes to building muscle, you need to be progressively overloading the muscles, i.e. resting sufficiently and lifting more weight and do more reps and volume over time. Doing exercises back to back like this is not the way you do that, and so I have no idea how training like this will help you build 21 pounds of lean tissue.
And hold, slowly down, 1, 2, 3, now we go, listen, 8 to the side for the intercostals.
Also, there seems to be a lot of hanging around. So you've done your pull-ups, which is a great mass builder, and now you're doing your hanging leg raises and your hanging oblique crunches. But if your goal is to build muscle, is that an effective use of time and energy? Probably not. Now, I know a lot of people on social media push calisthenics as a great way to build muscle. Now, it might be okay for beginners if you go from doing nothing to calisthenics, because that will be progressive overload. But it's hard for a person to continue progressively overloading and therefore building muscle if your weight isn't changing that much. So yeah, if you want to gain 21 pounds of muscle in a year, don't just hang around.
He's exhaling as he's pulling up. Excellent. Time. If you can perform that, you get abs like that.
Absolutely disagree with this. Again, very popular on social media, this idea that you can tone a muscle just by training it more. When it comes to your abs, the primary thing you need to concern yourself with is body fat reduction. If you do not reduce your body fat, you can do all the hangy leg raisey, oblique crunchy things in the world and you will not see your abs. Now, that's not to say that ab exercises don't help, but the reason his abs are so defined is because his body fat is so low. Going back to the goal of building as much muscle as possible, I definitely wouldn't have chosen these hangy ab exercises following my pull-ups. I would have done floor exercises for my abs and then saved my biceps and my back for other mass building back exercises. Don't forget, the majority of exercises that build your back use your biceps as a secondary muscle. So if you're hanging around all day, you're going to exhaust your biceps and take away from other exercises.
Our third and final superset is one-arm dumbbell rows. That'll give him his bread and butter, so it's like the foundation of his back, his thickness.
So again, his trainer is acknowledging the importance of dumbbell row when it comes to building a bigger back, calling it a foundational exercise and his bread and butter. Why on earth is this exercise at the end? It just doesn't make sense. If you wanted to build size, why don't you put your pull-up and your dumbbell row, your two main mass building compound exercises, at the beginning and leave your supplementary stuff for the end? After your lat pull downs and all that hanging around, you are not going to be able to lift as heavy on your dumbbell row.
And we go straight to shrugs, dumbbell shrugs for his traps. He's just gonna go up and down, he's gonna hold and down. So here you see it working the trapezium.
Trapezius, trapezium is a shape.
What's your definition on this, brother? All right, here we go. Watch this. You ain't never seen nothing like that before. And that's down to the intensity and how hard he trains, his work ethic.
Yeah, his intensity and how hard he trains. To be honest, Jonathan appears to be training hard, but definitely not training smart. People always say practice makes perfect. I disagree. Perfect practice makes perfect. If someone is trying to get better at football, but just doing rugby training, they're not going to improve their football skills. Jonathan's training regime might be good for losing fat and building endurance, but if 99.9% recurring of natural trainees followed this to build muscle, they would gain nowhere near 21 pounds of muscle, let alone in a year. So let's go into what we know about Jonathan Majors. He gained 21 pounds of muscle in just over a year. He was eating 6,100 calories per day, and doing all of this managed to get to 5% body fat. Now, I'm not his doctor. I can't sit here and tell you exactly what he was or wasn't taking, but I can say with confidence that 99.9% recurring of people will never have been able to achieve this in even 2 years. 6,100 calories per day, almost 3 times that of the average man, is going to cause the vast majority of people to gain a lot of body fat. And he didn't really have time to do a bulk and a cut if he did all of this in over a year. He would have had to be doing both pretty much simultaneously. The only way the 21 pounds would have been possible, and remember, we're not talking about total body mass. Anybody can gain 21 pounds of fat. 21 pounds of lean tissue would have been if somebody was brand new to training. Imagine he had never done anything in his life and he just started lifting weights. I would say in 18 months to 2 years, if you had phenomenal genetics, which he does, 21 pounds of muscle could be a possibility, but that is the absolute top end. When you look into Jonathan Majors' history, the guy was playing sports at a high level, basketball and American football. So he wouldn't have been brand new to weight training, and to be honest, built a pretty lean physique already before this transformation. So that muscle mass he gained and the body fat he lost would have been done as an intermediate to an advanced trainee, which for the vast majority of people is literally impossible. Also, when I did a bit of digging, it turns out he was training 2 hours per day, 2 to 3 times. For 99% of natural trainees, this would lead to overtraining, which would hamper your muscle gains. I'm gonna say it now, and I'm gonna say it with chest. To gain 21 pounds of muscle and get yourself down to 5% body fat would be pretty impressive even for a steroid taker over 2 years, let alone a natural trainee doing it in just over a year. It is literally almost impossible. You have to leave room for the 0.0001% of people that may be able to do this. But to be honest, almost 100%, I can say with confidence, you would not be able to do this in 2 years naturally. Absolutely not. For an intermediate to advanced trainee who was natural, trying to gain this much muscle and lose that much body fat, it would literally take you 6 to 10 years. That is no exaggeration. After you've gone past your newbie gains, let's say 3 to 5 years, you are literally gaining muscle, if you have good genetics, at a rate of 2 to 3 pounds per year. So yeah, Jonathan Majors, great actor, great physique, but almost impossible to do what he did with his body naturally. And I'll say one more thing, Men's Health need to do a lot better. Anytime an actor gets in shape for a role, they get in touch with them and start plugging their training regime so you can look just like insert said actor. But they never actually verify how the actor made those gains and if that training program is a viable way to build muscle. Bearing in mind the vast majority of their readers and their target audience are natural trainees, you would think they would vet these actors first. So don't be fooled. If you want to gain 21 pounds of muscle and get yourself down to 5% body fat naturally, this is not how you train. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it, comment below, let me know your thoughts, please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.